Hello. I don't have my speech all the way ready, but I wanted to talk about where it's going and how the outline's going. So my speech is titled Wrong Becomes Right, and the general aim is to challenge the audience's beliefs about whether or not their morals are objective or subjective. That's the main goal, because it's specifically centered around my thesis statement is right and wrong don't exist without God. Or another way to reword that is that moral law is not law without God, or that morals are subjective without God, that objective morality cannot exist apart from God. And that is because of the main points that I specify. In my attention getter, I plan on doing it how the outline pretty much says, asking them to imagine something horrible and then asking them if it's actually wrong. In my reason to listen, I'm going to go over the definition of God used within the speech. While I'm Christian, I am not arguing that the Christian God is necessary for objective morality, but that a God not defined by reality, but who defines reality, is necessary for objective morality. And there are plenty of religions where they have a God who created the world. So something like that, where a creator obviously defines what they made. So a God who defines reality is necessary for objective morality. It doesn't matter what that is. And so I explain that in the reason to listen. In the reason to listen, I also explain the definition of truth used throughout the speech, and I explain the definition of right and wrong used throughout the speech. My definition of truth is objective reality. So objective reality, something that is not, that humans can't define or change, something that is objectively true about this reality. So someone could say that they're a supernova 40 million light years away, but a human could say that, but objectively they are not a supernova 40 million light years away. They are a human on this earth. And so something like that. So not personal truth, but objective. My definition of right and wrong are also objectively right or objectively wrong. I am not talking about subjectively. And then as far as the speaker credibility, I'm going to go over how I have no intent of trying to get you to believe in God. I have no intent of that. My only intent in this paper or in this speech is to get you to question why you believe what you believe is wrong and what you believe is right, why you believe that they're wrong and right. Because often I meet a lot of Christians who think that ethics and ethical constructs or morals are subjective, so they think that it's relative and that people can define right and wrong for themselves. And I've also met atheists who believe that right and wrong are objective, and it's my belief, based on all my research, that if you believe in God, if you believe in a God, doesn't matter your religion, who defines reality and is not defined by reality, but defines reality, that morality is objective to whatever they define it as, that God. And then if you don't believe in morality, then the right worldview is that morality is relative. I think that comes along with some adverse side effects, but I know of atheists, and I've met atheists who do share this worldview with me, that if God doesn't exist, objective morality doesn't exist, and they're genuine about it, and their logic goes deep. Even if you ask them like really hard questions, they stick to that logic because that's actually what they believe. And that's my intent in this paper, is to test what people believe, or why they believe things to be right and why they believe things to be wrong. My main points are going to be, the first one is going to be that the acceptance of an outside entity that defines reality but is not defined by reality, such as God, is necessary for any sort of objective moral law or ethical worldview. My second main point will be about how the arguments against God being necessary for moral law, and the methods to make a moral law create inherently subjective moral laws, which are no longer moral laws, but are more akin to moral codes. And that's because the moral codes that atheistic worldviews have, other than moral relativism, such as utilitarianism and things like that, assert a base level fact to be true. So like some ethical codes assert that all human life is equal, or all human life should be saved. And I don't think that with an atheist, I believe those things because I'm a Christian, but I think that with an atheist worldview, it's hard to assert that as it's impossible to assert that as objectively true. Definitely within our society, humans are equal, and every human life is equally valued and should be saved. And I believe that as a Christian, no matter what society says, those things are true. However, I believe that with an atheistic worldview, those things are not objectively true. And so I go over that in my body paragraphs, and then I sum it up with the conclusion, and my works cited. Thank you, guys.